This would be Wednesday, September 18th, and getting into our learning in the Hope advanced class. And the story, Bury Me Not on the Lone Prairie, which is not on your handout, so I'm not giving it to you yet, because I knew if I did give it to you, you'd jump straight to the last stanza and find out what happens, and that takes all the fun out of it. So, it's going to be on the next one that you guys don't have yet, though. So there, I'm going to turn off one light. I had kids complain that they couldn't see it because there are too many lights on there. And there we go. No, we don't. All right. Blah, blah, glove and lions, lots of death, and it was fun, and then him jumping in, and then from there, I forgot. And then next one, yay, jumping in. Here we go. Yay. Yay. Our next one doesn't have nearly as exciting a video, but it's still a fun story. I'd ask you how many stanzas are in the poem, but you can't see the whole poem yet. So I'll have to just do it stanza by stanza as we go through it and try to help you out. So starting off with stanza number 1, Patty, we'll have you go ahead and read this one for me.
Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie, whose words came low and mournfully from the pallid lips of a youth who lay on his dying bed at the close of day.
Nice. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie, these words came low and mournfully from the pallid lips of a youth who lay on his dying bed at the close of day. You guys know what pallid means? Because that's going to play a role coming up here in just a moment. Grant.
Pale.
Nicely done. It means pale, lacking color. And then we have one character so far. And who's our one character so far, AK?
Sorry, my contact.
It happens to me all the time, I understand. I have water if you need it.
I'm good.
Project it really well.
The dude who's dying.
The dude who's dying. Nicely done. And we know a little bit of information about the dude who's dying, and we know something about the dude's age. And how old is this dude dying? Keegan?
About our age, probably.
Why do you say that? Where's your evidence?
Because it says, from the pallid lips of a youth.
Nicely done. So we're assuming that he is somewhat of a young person. Does it tell us why he's dying? No, not yet. We have to find out. He's dying. That's what's important. And let's see. Oh, he has one request so far. Gracie, what's his one request so far?
I can't see. I didn't wear my contacts.
Oh, Gracie, come forward over here. You get this. Or wait, you can take Sox's seat. I mean, you're still coming closer. But you can take Sox's seat since she's not here today. That works much easier. That's fine. We'll come back and pick on you again in a moment when you can see slightly better. I can pick on Rhodes. Rhodes. What's our youth's one request? He's dying and life is awful.
To like bury him in the lone prairie.
Close. But just the opposite of that.
To not bury.
Nicely done. That's where it says, oh, bury me not on the lone prairie. And that's where he said, please don't bury me on the lone prairie. Wait, you guys know what a prairie is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was prairie.
It's like a field with like a lot of
An
grass.
open
Like a
field.
field and like a lot of grass.
Field with a lot of grass.
Nicely done.
An
That sounds
oak.
much stronger of an answer.
An
Very less
oak.
globetrotters involved. And so it is a big field with lots of grass. Yes.
It's also very open.
Yes. Nicely. Very open. Very fieldish, if you will. And we know he's dying. Oh, do you guys know what the close of day means?
Night.
Fauntleroy?
When the day is ending, like when it's almost night.
You guys do like that like word. Nicely done. And once again, when the day is ending, not just like it's ending, but it is ending. Stanza 2. So we'll keep going from there. Nick Scribbles?
Bury me not on the lone prairie, where the wild coyote will howl for me, in a narrow grave just 6 by 3, or bury me not on the lone prairie.
Nicely done. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie, where the wild coyote will howl o'er me, in a narrow grave just 6 by 3. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie. We talked about that word yesterday. Remember what that word is, Gracie?
Over.
Nicely done. And they cut out the V because it makes the beat work better throughout the entire poem. You guys know what coyotes are? Hopefully. What's a coyote, Bevan?
They're kind of like wolves, but they're different in some way that I don't know.
Very honest of you. Little Lamb?
It's like an ugly small poodle.
Nice. Works for me. Scraggly, scrawnier, dog-eared. And works for me. Some more for the fields. Wolves are much bigger, living up north.
Can't
So yeah,
escape
so the
us.
coyotes out there will howl. You guys know what the 6 by 3 means? When it says referring to the just 6 by 3. Chloe.
A grave is like 6 feet down and it's 3 feet wide.
You're correct. It's usually 6 down and then 6 long and then 3 feet wide. And the idea being is that it should be bigger, hopefully, than you guys are. If you're bigger than 6 foot, then they usually just like bend you in half and fold you and put you there. Or they make it slightly bigger. But at one time, that fit most people and would give room to fit in like the coffin. So that's what he's saying. In a narrow grave, just 6 by 3. Although, given if they're out there on the prairie, they might not have it 6 feet down. Patty?
Isn't it 2 feet wide?
Usually it's 3. I mean, yours might be if you want, but usually it's 3 feet wide. Because you have you, which is about 2 feet wide. Don't forget you're going to be in a coffin usually. Unless they're just going to chuck your body into a hole. We might chuck your body into a hole. I'm going out in a coffin, preferably, and a blazing order. That's another story. And then, see, from there, Scully, our speaker has a request. And what's our speaker's request?
Not to be buried on the lone prairie.
Oh, are you asking me? Oh, what was the answer?
Not to be buried on the lone prairie.
Once again, you're asking me.
No.
Be stronger.
Not to be buried on the lone prairie.
Questions go up, declarations go down. Not to be buried on a lone prairie. You're giving me not to be buried on the lone prairie. Be strong.
Not to be buried
I
on
give
the
up.
lone
Nicely done, Scully. To not be buried
That
on the
sounds
lone
like
prairie
something
or
like
the
that.
loud coyote.
Not to be buried on the lone
Buried on the lone prairie, coyote, and howl over him. And it makes him feel all sad. And he doesn't want to feel sad. I don't know why. He has ice cream. Picture I found. And I figured there's like killer ice cream.
Why don't you just like rotate the face so it doesn't look like his head's on it?
Because that made me smile. Which was ironic because it's a frowny face. It made me smile. So it was ironic.
I get it. Oh, I get it now.
I
get it.
It's too late. I already gave up on you. Ah. Let's see. Next up, stanza number 3. And sure, Sklar. Let me read that one.
Oh, bury me not on a lone prairie where the buffalo paws over the prairie sea, where the buzzard sails and the wind goes free. Oh, bury me not on a lone prairie.
Thank you. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie where the buffalo paws over the prairie sea, where the buzzard sails and the wind goes free. Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie. Scully, our speaker has a request. What's our speaker's request?
Not to be buried in the lone prairie.
Nicely done, Scully. Requesting not to be buried on the lone prairie. You guys know what buffaloes are? They're like wolves, but kind of. Really kind of. Yes, Fauntleroy?
They're like bigger than cows, but they're hairy and they have horns.
They're like hippie cows, nicely done. Big and furry and shaggy, you need a haircut and stuff like that. And the same thing with the buzzard. You guys know what a buzzard is? Yes?
It's a bug.
No, buzzards.
It does have wings. I will give you that. Yes, you did. That was very honest of you. AK?
It's like a big black bird that eats dead things.
Nicely done. Like a vulture kind of thing. It eats the dead things from there.
Mr. Broviak.
Oh, and the reference to the prairie sea, going back to Patty's thing about why, Patty?
Because like when the wind comes and
Uh-huh.
like there's like tall grass, so it looks like a sea.
Nicely done. And it says where the buzzard sails, the wind goes through. There's our buffaloes.
AK.
There's our buzzards as he goes through. So he's saying, don't bury me where the buzzards are. Don't bury me where the buffaloes go. And that brings us to our final stanza. Final stanza. The final stanza. And we'll just have you go ahead and read it from there, Matt.
But we buried him there on the lone prairie where the owl all night hoots mournfully, and the blizzard beats and the wind blows free, over his lonely grave on the lone prairie.
Nicely done.
Oh my god, that's so awful. So mean.
We'll get to the sad stuff in a moment. But we buried him there on the lone prairie, where the owl all night hoots mournfully, and the blizzard beats and the wind blows free, over his lonely grave on the lone prairie. I agree. It is awful. My question is, why? Why throughout the poem would you find evidence they would still do it? And the answer is not, obviously they hate the kid. I feel the same. I know, it seems like that there's not. Use information throughout the poem. Try to figure out when you think the poem was supposed to be set, where they would be located, why you might be asking that, why they can't do it even if he is asking it. Assume they probably like him. It's not, that jerk face kept saying. They're saying the lonely youth, the poor kid, little lamb.
It's probably set in the not medieval, Wild West time.
Okay, why Wild West times?
Because a lot of people were just now moving to the west, and
So you're saying they're traveling across the...
no, they might have just gotten there or something. And
Okay.
he dies.
Okay,
It's not like they could have put him anywhere else.
that's true. So that's like the only thing that's around them?
Yeah.
I could definitely, so maybe they're going through the west, and they sort of settled, they built a house out in the prairie, and all of a sudden the kid's like, oh no, mommy, daddy, I'm dying, don't bury me in the lone prairie. They look out the window, they go, nothing but prairie kid, and so there's nowhere else. That could definitely work, I could see that. Any other thoughts? Grant?
They could, bury him in a grave. They could just get their shovels and dig up some dead person and put him in there.
What?
With dead person bodies.
It scares me, I'm gonna go Keegan?
Because it's just like a nice nature area, and it would be peaceful most of the time, and just like the phrase goes, rest in peace, and if it's peaceful, hopefully he'll rest in peace.
Leah?
Well, maybe they didn't have a cemetery. It was in really old times,
I can see that.
and then they just didn't have it.
Anywhere else to bury him?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, if we're going back to, I like the little lambs idea, and if we have the little wagon trains that are going across from the east to the west, and let's say we have the people that are in the little covered Conestoga wagons, and all of a sudden you have the kid that's with you, and we're going to call him little Joey, and then all of a sudden little Joey gets sick, and we're in the middle of Kansas, and little Joey's like, and we're all traveling all the way to California, and little Joey dies, and we're really sad about it, and Joey the whole time is like, don't bury me in the prairie, because little Joey came from real area, and he's going out to little California, and he keeps telling his family, don't bury me in the prairie. We go, we understand. The next day, don't bury me in the prairie. And we don't want to bury him in the prairie. Why can't we just take him with us? Patty? Nicely done. Exactly. And so that's where you realize the fact they don't do it because they're trying to be mean. But even though this kid keeps requesting, they're like, we don't have a choice. We don't have refrigeration. We can't just drag you behind us in the dirt. And so we're going to have to put you somewhere. So that's the idea that they had to go through. So you have to use the evidence throughout the poem to try and figure out why they would do it. Not because they hate them, but because the fact that they would like to, they just can't. Rose?
What if they had 2 wagons?
Uh-huh.
They put him in the wagon that they put behind the wagon that they sit
But
in.
who's going to drive that wagon?
No, but they hook them onto each other.
So like a little train thing going.
Yeah.
That's good thinking, not bad. The problem was usually when you were traveling through there, you didn't just bring a spare dead person wagon. Usually it was
you
full of
could have
stuff.
chairs and stuff in the other wagon.
Could be, but the problem is the dead person is going to start attracting things like animals that are going to come and try to eat the real people. That would make them sad.